Welcome back to My Head on YouTuber. Kmo doesn't realize I hit record a little while ago, so he's continuing to do his preview show ritual where we test the mics with him reading some weird poem things I've never heard of.
Usually reciting, but I couldn't remember a line. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day, to the last syllable of recorded time, and all our yesterdays have lighted fools the path to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle, life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot. You know the rest?
I didn't listen to any of it.
Full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
No, never heard of it. What is that?
Oh, it's Macbeth.
One of the few Shakespeare classics I haven't read.
Anyway.
I like Hamlet when Hamlet says to his ex-girlfriend / current girlfriend, "Get thee to a nunnery." I had to explain that one to my mom when I started laughing in the middle of the living room reading it. Yeah, he says, "Get thee to a nunnery," and she's like, "I don't get it." It's like, he's calling her. Floozy. That's a PG word.
Yes, yes.
All right, KMO. We were going to talk about comments on my previous video, aka Kmo's previous video.
All right.
That was last Thursday. I don't know when we shot it. The last
time we had this background. So, Paul writes, Collin, I don't support Trump, but I agree with you. He should be able to investigate corruption, and I do not care if he threatened to withhold military aid or whatever it was. And yes, what the Bidens did was corrupt. Democrats have wasted too much time trying to undo the 2016 election. Also, I think your shirt should say, I'm a very nice young man.
So, the majority of that, congratulations, you have common sense. That's why I like you, Paul. That last sentence, though, a shirt that said that would be complete slander, and I would have to burn it. I can't pretend that I am a nice young man. I have to pretend I'm evil and hateful. It's my personality.
Jason writes, holy hell, Glenn Beck? Really? Clinton was impeached for lying before a grand jury, all caps, not Congress. He was investigated for whitewater, but by all means, provide your expertise on Trump without any knowledge of history and pretend like knowledge is beneath you because you're above all that.
And that to me so I can reference it. Thank you. First things first. Okay, I clicked on the wrong one. All right, boom. Don't attack the source. I mean,
oops. Edit.
And with the magic of editing, that phone conversation took no time at all. First things first. It's fine to question sources, but when that's your first point, so like, why don't you attack the context? I don't get what's wrong with Glenn Beck. I mean, in recent years, to me, he's proven. I don't watch him, so I really don't know what he said. So I'm not going to pretend I know anything. But I can say a bunch of places like Washington Post and New York Times have been caught spreading fake news and lies. And just recently in the news, ABC, Jeffrey Epstein cover up, blah, blah, blah. So maybe Glenn Beck at least doesn't cover up for traffickers. And then you go and tell me, well, I'm all wrong about the Clinton. You see, it's not that I think I'm above all that. It's that happened in 98, 99, and I was born in 98. And I need to learn more about it, but it wasn't really relevant to my topic, so I didn't research it because I didn't really care. The main point of what I was talking about for Bill Clinton was he was impeached for lying, aka he lied. He did the thing. Also, I really like the personal insults. Keep them coming.
I commented to Collin that Bill Clinton is to him as Lyndon Johnson is to me. Johnson was the president when I was born, but I don't remember him being president.
I heard he liked to do some things with the staff that were inappropriate.
Well, he...
There's a reason his name was Johnson.
Yeah. Well, he liked to take a dump in front of his staff.
To be fair, hold on, wait. I have to give him some props here. Why take a break from working just because you need to use the bathroom?
Exactly.
I mean, it might be uncomfortable for the other people, but if you're just doing your natural thing while also working, it seems like a very efficient use of the president's time.
And hey,
better than Twitter, isn't it?
If your stuff don't stink,
Well, you know what? That's part of life. It's not really appropriate. It was a different society. Men could do that. My uncle does that to his wife still, so.
Next. The Biden corruption was pretty obvious, writes Thomas. When he got his son a no-show job for $50,000 a month, the president, attempting to expose outright corruption for his own political gain, is accused of being corrupt for doing so. Russian and now Ukrainian McCarthyism has swept across today's political environment. False narratives have been proclaimed real for the sake of political expediency. 2 + 2 = 5 because, quote, we need to get rid of Trump, close quote. Biden's corruption reminds me of the rulers of some third world country looting with impunity. At the end of the day, that corruption will come at the cost of the legitimacy of our political institutions. And the deplorable average citizens are being sold down the river by their betters. And they will inevitably be blamed for their own demise. My respect and interest in the mainstream media and their narratives has waned. Most institutional narratives seem severely detached from the reality out my front door.
Last part, yes. First part, Biden did a lot more corrupt things in Ukraine than getting his son money. That is not okay, but on the things I care about, that's a little low on the list.
As I understand it, Biden didn't get the job for his son, but...
His son got the job because his father was vice president.
Exactly.
But there was firing prosecutors that were going after the oil company he worked for, whatever, with the threat of withholding aid, which is straight up corruption. Don't even care about that much either, but there's some other stuff going on with the DNC and CrowdStrike servers and some other woman and Paul Manafort, and there's a bunch of documents. I've read most of them, but I can't remember them all. But the Glenn Beck video I talked about should be watched by people, and then don't just listen to his opinion on it. Go read the documents yourself. You can find them. They're federal documents on .gov sites. And, court release documents, FOIA requests, stuff like that. Which, coming to the last part again, where you say you don't trust institutions. I don't either, which is why I read the legal documents. I like them. They're fun. So with the Trump impeachment, I was just commenting on Facebook about this. Someone said, oh, so-and-so that Trump said there was no quid pro quo said there is now. And I'm all like, I have read the whistleblower report, the phone transcripts, Trump statements, and Zelensky statements. And I have enough information to make a conclusion. I don't really care what other people say anymore. Is that the right way to do it, in your opinion, Kmo? He doesn't like answering questions like that. Smart.
Let's read David's comment. David writes, it does often feel like the world is getting crazier, but it has probably often been like that throughout history. As for our president, he is getting impeached because he attempted to make military aid to the Ukraine contingent upon investigating Joe Biden. The facts of the case are mostly undisputed, and Trump has joked about this very thing at a press conference. There is a transcript that suggests it, and numerous career diplomats and a decorated war veteran who are corroborating this. Is this an okay thing for Trump to have done? I don't think so. If you think it is okay, then I would suggest asking the question, how would I feel if Hillary Clinton had done this exact same thing? At a point when we are so divided into R's and D's and red and blue, I think one basic question we could ask is, do I judge the people I support differently than the people in the other camp? A huge deal is made of the fact that Hillary Clinton had work emails on her personal server. How would I feel if Donald Trump did that? Or vice versa. Take one of any number of things Trump has done. For example, accidentally giving away top-secret intelligence about an Israeli spy asset to the Russians during an Oval Office meeting. How would this have been handled if Hillary Clinton had done the same thing? It's hard to judge the people we support in similar terms to people we don't support, but I think it's worth trying.
A lot of good stuff, long comment. I want to start with the bit in the middle that I replied to on the post. You said something about facts of the kid. There's a transcript that suggests that numerous career diplomats and decorated war veterans who corroborated this. And I refer back to my last point of, oh, hey, I can just read my reply. I stopped reading after the first few sentences.
Well, now you've heard the whole thing.
The transcript suggests nothing about withholding aid. I've read it. It doesn't. You can, if you go in there with confirmation bias looking for it, you can pretend it does, but there's no mention of aid in the word spoken. So whether you think it's implied or not is really not evidence in any way. President Zelensky has said under threat of perjury, he was under oath or in an official document. I don't remember what it was, but it was a legal document, says he felt no way pressured to investigate Joe Biden. And of course, Trump denies it. So when the accused denies it, the victim denies it, and the first, what's it called? First person source? The direct source, the phone call that is in question, is released publicly. I don't really care what the other people say. All the sources involved have come out and said, there isn't a problem here. Now, if Zelensky's lying, well, he lied under oath, and I mean, what if you're lying? What if so-and-so's lying? I mean, we can't just live life like that, pretending we want something to be true without any evidence of it, because there's no evidence of it. And then further to blah, 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 Hillary Clinton did stuff. Yeah, if Hillary Clinton did that in Ukraine, though, it'd be a lot different, because she's got a bunch of puppets there. And her work emails, I've done a video on that, you should go back and check it out. I don't really care much about the emails, as the way the DOJ handled it, and covered it up. Oh, she wasn't grossly negligent, she was extremely careless, because those are not the same words. Anyways, you can go back and check out that video. Yeah, it looks like you're a little bit blinded by the media bias of whatever you read, because I don't even think making military aid contingent upon an investigation into alleged corruption, doesn't matter if it's Joe Biden or not, that's what it was, alleged corruption, which I don't think military aid was contingent on that. I haven't seen any evidence of that, but even if it was, I don't think that's illegal. I think, oh, there's corruption between our two governments, I want this investigated, or we're not paying to keep you safe anymore. You're not entitled to military aid, and the president has the right to cut it. So the question that the impeachment inquiry is trying to answer is, was he doing it with corrupt motivations to, as Adam Schiff made up, dig up dirt, make up dirt on Joe Biden, or I'm going to take away your money? It's like, no, there's no evidence to suggest that in any way, so that's why you're not seeing me complain about this.
You don't see me complain about it because I don't even follow this story. I just don't care. The United States has done all kinds of heinous chicanery in Ukraine since the fall of the Soviet Union. Of all the stuff that the U.S. has done there, this is so trivial.
Oh,
even
yes.
If the most serious accusations are 100% true, this is utterly trivial.
What Joe Biden and the Obama administration did there, besides the fact that they're trying to influence the 2016 election, which is not okay and needs to be handled, it's not on an international scale, world doomsday scale, not a big deal at all. But with this impeachment inquiry, I am a bit worried. You know, and impeachment in general is bad for the economy, especially when it's Trump, where the economy is booming right now. I don't know if you care about the economy as much as I do, but
I want people to have money to send to me.
Exactly. Good.
So,
but hold on, wait. I have more on this. So with this, and then over 50% of Americans, last I checked, were against the impeachment inquiry. So then, when they continue to do it, do you, especially because the side that is getting mad about it is the side that, you know, has the guns. So if they actually try to remove Donald Trump from office, which the Senate won't allow, but if they did, would you expect it to be a peaceful exit? Because I think tensions are probably the highest they've been in my life on this international scale right now, on national scale.
Yeah, tensions are high.
Could very easily escalate.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's going to be a peaceful transition, as have been the last,
I think it's going to
42, 43 of them.
Either not make it through the House, because as soon as they start doing it in public, the Dems' ratings are just going to drop, because there's no story here. And then if it does get through the House, the Senate's going to deny it, and then Trump's going to win again in 2020, which is that's what's going to happen. But if they try fishy stuff like they did in 2016 with the Justice Department, who's involved with this one too, the whistleblower worked under Brennan, was invited to the White House by Joe Biden, when he was vice president. Do you know his name? It was Andrew Kirmala, something like that. It's like,
from our fellow,
it's all a deep state, blah blah blah.
Yep.
You know.
From our fellow Vermonter, Hex Hammer 666. He had this to say. There's this idea that he'll be impeached in the House, they'll send it to the Senate, and Mitch McConnell will call for an immediate dismissal, and it'll be dismissed. But what if he's impeached in the House, it goes to trial in the Senate, and the Republicans just drag their feet, really stretch out the proceedings? What does that do for the sitting senators who would have to be involved in adjudicating this process, who are also running for president? Senators Sanders, Senators Warren, Senator Harris, they would all have to be in Washington, D.C. in the Senate.
Warren, Harris.
Yeah.
I don't think any of them have a chance to begin with. So.
Sanders and Warren are numbers 2 and 3, or numbers 1 and 2.
For the Democratic primary.
Right.
Which...
But if they have to be in D.C. involved in this process, not campaigning...
Actually, that might be good for them.
Well, it would be good for Trump.
Stuff anymore.
It would be good for Trump because then Joe Biden is going to be out there basically unopposed. He'll be, his main opponent then will be Andrew Yang.
Which might be bad for Trump. If Yang starts getting coverage.
And Pete, Mayor Pete. So I saw a Mayor Pete sign as I was going over to the dentist this morning. But Trump's best bet for the election is to run against Biden.
I agree with the sentiment, but just looking from the poll numbers I've seen and comparing them to 2016, and with all the stuff adding up to it, with the election being so far out, you'd expect the president to be polling low. His approval rating recently, I don't know what it is right now because more fake news comes out a day than I can keep up with, but his approval rating was above Obama's at the same point in his term a few weeks ago, at least, last time I checked. So you can only expect... Okay, so let me try to explain. With an incumbent versus a newcomer, the incumbent, before the election time comes, is judged on all the things we dislike about them. Well, the newcomer gets to throw out their promises and be like, this is what I'm going to do. But then when the election itself comes, people tend to think more, these are the results we've gotten from the incumbent, and these are the promises we've got from the newcomer. And once Donald Trump, you start looking at the results, which you're going to have 3 presidential debates where he gets to say unemployment the lowest it's ever been, stock market super high, GDP up to 4.5% again or whatever, which Obama said was impossible. It's like, I don't see any Democrat up there standing a chance in the general election anyway, so I don't really care. Especially because they all suck.
We should probably wrap this up, but for next time, familiarize yourself with the difference between unemployment and the labor participation rate.
Okay, I can do that.
All right.
Adios. Pew.